Hello and welcome to the Curiosity and Consciousness podcast. The intention of this podcast is to open your mind, get curious about yourself and connect to the power you hold within. I am your host, Maloney, an inside-out coach, helping you to believe in yourself and manifest your desires. Check out the podcast, available on all platforms, and go to my website, www.karenmaloney.com for all info. Hello everybody, welcome back. It's me, Karen Maloney, and this week I'm doing another solo episode, taking a little break from the cancer series. Well, not taking a break, just this one episode. We'll be back to it again next week, but I just wanted to talk and share about breathwork and transformational breathwork specifically. It's a modality that I am training in. Well, I finished my training and now I'm just facilitating breathwork journeys, and I have to facilitate a certain number before being fully qualified. So I'm in the thick of them. I am loving them. I am loving my own personal experience with breathwork journeys and guiding and seeing other people's experiences as well. And if you're like me, when I first heard about breathwork practice a couple of years ago, I was kind of like, what the hell is that? Like, how can a breathwork practice help me or help anyone? Like, I'm breathing all day, every day. So how is it different and how is it supportive? That was my thinking. Whenever I saw breathwork mentioned anywhere, I was like, what is that? I'm breathing all day, every day anyway. So how is it different? And let me tell you, it is very, 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 very different. Well, in one sense, breathwork is obviously a name for many different modalities and varieties of breathwork. So there is breathwork, which is very relaxing, which is activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. There are breathwork practices for balancing. So balancing your body, balancing your heart and mind, balancing both sides of your brain. And they would be very much the breathwork practices that we know. So slowing down your breath, taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths into your belly, extending your exhale, that kind of breathing. Very pranayamic, very yogic traditions of breathing, meditative types of breathing that I'm sure at this stage we've all come across in different ways. And that's absolutely a part of breathwork. But breathwork journeys, for the most part, when you see a breathwork journey advertised, it is a totally different type of breathwork. So it's activation of the sympathetic nervous system. It's a controlled type of hyperventilation, and it's a very quick breath, and it's a breathing practice that's done in and out of the mouth, and it's done over an extended period of time, and the benefits are going really deep. So going really deep into the subconscious mind, into the body. It's a very somatic type of healing, and it's that really liberating any traumas, any suppressed emotions, any ancestral or generational pains, traumas, issues, emotions that are stuck in our body, whether we know about them or not. So it's a very somatic type of practice. And while my training incorporates all kinds of breathwork modalities, that's the one I'm specifically focusing on, the journeys that I'm doing at the moment, and what I'm going to talk to you about today. So let's just back it up for a minute and come back to basics. And breath, the word breath in Sanskrit actually means spirit. And it's funny as well because I have done plant medicine journeys as well over the years, now quite a number of years ago. And it's really weird, during some of my journeys, I got the message. I somehow knew that our breath was our superpower. That was a message that came to me several times really, really strongly. Our breath is our superpower. But I didn't have any kind of breathwork practices. I had not done any long breathwork journey, so I didn't really know. But even just in that very basic sense of our breath is everything. If we're not breathing, we're not here. We're not conscious. We're not in this body. We're not living. But I also knew there was a much deeper layer to it as well. And there is. Again, even when you think about it, on a very basic level, just our day-to-day breathing, our breath is like a remote control. It's like our own personal remote control to our emotional well-being, to our nervous system, to our emotional state. And what do I mean by that? So if you think about it, when you get a shock or a fright, you go and you take a really short, sharp breath, and that puts you into the sympathetic nervous system. So just with that one breath, you are activated, you are in the sympathetic nervous system. Your body is ready to fight, flight, or freeze. Just with one breath. It all changes in a second, just with that one breath. And again, that can happen whether there's actually a true threat in front of you or just a perceived threat. And a perceived threat is just a thought that's going through your mind. So just with that one breath, you have activated your sympathetic nervous system. You are on high alert. Your breathing has increased. Your heart rate has increased. And you are ready to do something. You are ready to run, to scream, to fight, to do what you need to do in that moment of, it's a fear, it's a stress, it's a biochemical response, a primal response, a program in our brain to get us out of potentially life-threatening situations. And that all happens just with one breath. By the same token, when we take a long, deep inhale with a long sigh and exhale, again, maybe the threat has passed, we realize, oh, it wasn't a snake or a spider, it was actually just a leaf blowing in the wind, and you go, oh. And once you take that long breath, again, just with one breath, you are signaling to your body that there is no threat, all is okay, and you are activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps bring your body back into balance, back into homeostasis, back into rest and digest. So that's why I say our breath is like our own personal remote control. And especially when we get into stressful situations, or if we are an overthinker, if we have non-stop, incessant, maybe negative, maybe threatening thoughts in our mind, it can be difficult to grasp the thought because they go so fast and we're not conscious of them sometimes. But we can always take control of our breath. And when we take control of our breath, then we have a space to be able to go up into our mind or to observe what's going on in our mind. So again, our breath is our own personal superpower, our personal remote control, a segue, something that we can use intentionally and manipulate intentionally to change our internal state, to change our emotional reaction, to self-regulate our nervous system. That's what we can do with our breath. And again, these breath practices, or when I'm talking about this, I'm really talking about consciously slowing down your breath, being aware of your breath, taking a long, slow, deep inhale for a couple of times. It just completely changes your state. It's taking you out of that active sympathetic nervous system response into the parasympathetic, the more relaxed flow state. So that's available to us always at any given moment, and it's easier to catch and take control of the breath initially as opposed to thoughts. And then when we do that enough and we calm our nervous system, then we can observe our thoughts and see what's going on in the mind as well. But then this other type of breathwork journey that I'm talking about and what I've trained in specifically is transformational breathwork. And this is a type of conscious, connected breathing pattern. And it is an activated breath. We are consciously activating ourselves and consciously manipulating our nervous system in a certain way so we can get into an altered state of consciousness. So we can really go deep into our subconscious and we can reprogram ourselves. We can also release any traumas, any suppressed emotions, any ancestral or generational pain that is still resonating in our fascia, in our bones, in our muscles, in our cells. And the intention of this breathing is that it is somatic. It is that it activates any stored trauma or energy, trapped energy in the body. The intention during a breathwork session like this is to allow these to rise. It is the classic, we have to feel it to heal it. It's bringing them to the surface in a safe way so we can move through it and release it. And that's really, in my eyes, what this type of transformational breathwork practice is doing. We are consciously manipulating our state so we can do this deep somatic type of work. And there's lots of science to back up these types of breathwork journeys as well. And again, the idea is that we gain access to the subconscious mind. We release trapped emotions and traumas, and we rewire our brain. Because when we're in that deep subconscious state, when we're in that altered state of consciousness, when the prefrontal cortex, the monkey mind, goes offline, we are more open. We move into theta brainwave state, which is in the hypnosis state. When we are in that hypnosis, that theta brainwave, we are more suggestible to new beliefs, to new ideas, to new thoughts. And that's where I come in my journeys, intentionally bringing in positive affirmations, helping people to release what they're ready to let go of, bringing in new empowering thoughts and statements, because these will automatically just be programmed into the subconscious. Again, thinking that hypnosis, they are going directly in. And this is why it's so powerful as well to help rewire our brains, to help reprogram our subconscious minds, to help install new beliefs, because we get into this state where we are more suggestible and our subconscious can take these things in easier because the analytical, critical mind is offline. And that's why it's so powerful. And especially for so many different life situations, journeys can be tailored to specific issues. So whether it's grief or loss or abuse or feeling stuck or fear or phobias or trauma or anxiety, this is why journeys can be tailored to specific things and how they can be so transformational for people, because when they do the work, because there is work involved as well, it's called breath work, and it takes moving through some discomfort to get to this open space, to get into the theta brainwave, to get the prefrontal cortex offline. It takes a little bit of work. It can be uncomfortable, but it's only uncomfortable because of our mind telling us that we should stop, that we can't do it, that it's too uncomfortable, that you just want to go to sleep, that it's too much. And this is just the monkey mind and what it does. But once we go through that and we get into that open, blissful state, then we can receive new programming and it will embed so much quicker. And again, that's why it is so transformational. And yeah, it's incredible to have experienced my own experiences. So again, doubling back a bit, when I got that message doing plant medicines that our breath is our superpower, I had started doing some shorter Wim Hof breathwork sessions on YouTube, and they were like 15 minutes or that, and they were really, really powerful. I really enjoyed them, but I still had never done a full journey. And then during the pandemic, Pat Dibley, a coach from Ireland as well, I'm sure a lot of you know him, he started doing breathwork journeys online. So I joined one of his online during the pandemic, and after that first session, I was just mind blown, absolutely mind blown. For me, the experience was way more powerful than any plant medicine journey I had done. And I mean that in the sense of the somatic, like the huge emotional release that I had felt. I had never experienced that ever in my life with any other modality. And I mean, feeling it, really feeling it, whether it was the fear, the pain, crying, twisting, we do a scream as well. Whatever it was just such a huge emotional, somatic release that I just felt incredible afterwards. And I joined a few more of his online, and then it came across my path, and it was time for me to study and train in it. Because, and I don't mean that I didn't get any benefit from the plant medicines, I absolutely did as well, hugely so. But for me, this was just even more next level. But also the fact that I was never called to work with the medicines, never. Really powerful work. I absolutely loved it. I felt huge transformation. I saw other people have their lives absolutely transformed from them, but it just never called me. And the thing about breathwork is, for me, one, it is way more accessible to people, way more accessible than the plant medicines. But two, you can get to the exact same level. And actually, now that I've done breathwork journeys, I completely understand that message that I got in the plant medicines, saying our breath is our superpower, because we actually don't need anything. We don't even need the ayahuasca, the other plant medicines, because with our breath, we can get to the same level of consciousness. We can get into the same altered state of consciousness and have as many insights, revelations, ability to see your subconscious reprogram. Absolutely 100%. And again, it comes back to even doing the medicines. You know, the facilitators and shamans would often say, we are the medicine. You know, we are the medicine. We have everything we need. And from doing the breathwork journeys, I get that. I get it 1,000,000%, because our breath is the medicine. Our breath is the power. And again, I'm not saying it is the only thing and don't take any medicines. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is we have so much capacity and ability within ourselves to heal ourselves, to do so much for ourselves simply with our breath. And even during one of my own journeys that I did just last week, I had the most profound experience yet. Of all the breathwork journeys I had done, it was the most profound. And again, that message of we are our own healers, we are the medicine, was highlighted to me even more. And at one stage during the journey, I had this like knot in my leg, my right leg, kind of behind my knee, and it was just there. And I started moving my leg and shaking. But then I started, I got my hands involved, and I was kind of tapping in that spot, in that area. And I just had all these flashbacks of, all the massages that I've got over the years, and how those people are body workers and working through these blocks and these knots and these tight muscles and tensions. But I saw it as so much deeper, as in I just felt that was something old, like really, really old. I felt like that knot, that energy was not even mine. It was for my ancestors. It was generational, ancestral. I just felt like it was really old. And by me here breathing and tapping on this in my own body, I was doing so much healing for myself, and again, for my family line. And that may sound strange to someone, and that's okay. But when you learn the truth that we do hold so much within our body that we're not aware of, that's not even ours, it's so incredible to be able to release that for ourselves. And I just, that particular journey, all the journeys are powerful in their own way, but that one was particularly powerful and profound. And I was doing so much shaking, and it was literally like my body was vibrating. That was nearly what was happening. I felt like there was just this electricity running through my whole body and just really kind of resetting, clearing. And again, I didn't have to understand what was being cleared. I just had to keep breathing and go with the process. And so that's why it's just so powerful. And again, not all of them were that profound, but I always felt so many benefits afterwards, and especially just clarity and ease and this lightness within, and especially within my mind, because the benefits are huge. So it's not just the somatic healing and, releasing traumas and trapped emotions and whatever might be lingering in the body ancestrally. Again, other benefits are that increased clarity and insight and that calm and relaxed sense of emotional well-being, more inner peace, more contentment, more ease, more joy, more self-awareness in general, feeling more connected to myself, more present, less reactive, less stressed, and also more connected to something so much bigger than ourselves, a closer connection to the divine, whatever that might be for you, and this sense of personal and spiritual transformation. So an incredible amount of benefits and again healing we can do for ourselves with our breath when we breathe in a specific way where it is extremely safe for us to go into this space and to do this work on ourselves. And again, they can be tailored for so many different specific situations, but some issues that breathwork supports is addictions, fears and phobias. Again, that sense of grief and loss, stress, anxiety, PTSD, childhood trauma, suppressed emotions, any kind of trauma, even relationship issues, money issues, patterns of self-sabotage. If you're feeling really stuck, having lots of negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, any as well chronic pain in the body. There are just so many different things that it can support with. So it's just truly magical and powerful and incredible, and again so empowering to know that we can do so much for ourselves as well when we are guided. And that's exactly what I'm doing now, and it's magical to be able to help people in this way as well, in this really profound way that actually people can have major shifts even just with one session. And yes, there are some contraindications, like if you have any cardiovascular issues or chronic respiratory issues, or if you're pregnant or on really heavy duty medications or have a history of aneurysm, there are certain contraindications, but by and large it is an extremely safe modality. At the end of the day, you're the one breathing for you. So if ever it gets too intense for you personally, you can just stop breathing and you come out of it. Because I cannot personally breathe for another person, so I am not in control of their journey, and that's what makes it so safe as well. But like that, there are some cautions, like with lots of things. Even if you have any of those contraindications, there is always another modality for you. So even a balancing breath, activating your parasympathetic nervous system, so beneficial. So that's just what I wanted to talk about this week, just share a little bit on it. But also, if you are interested in joining a journey, and these are online, they're online guided sessions, I have a link to a Google document on the show notes and here in the notes for the episode, that if you would like to join an online session, a guided session, please fill out the link. It's just your name, your email, and what day of the week may be best suited to you, and I will be in contact with more information as I'm putting online groups together. And I'll send more info, but you would need 1 hour, 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 90 minutes minimum of undisturbed, undistracted time. So if you're interested, if you're willing to put that time in, if you can put that time in, fill out the form and I will be in touch with more info. Or feel free to send me an email as well, support@KarenMaloney.com, and I will send you the link. It's just so exciting and so empowering to share, and yeah, if it calls you, I invite you to try it out. These sessions that I'm currently doing just to finish my certification are free, and then I will be also doing group sessions afterwards with a minimal charge to keep as accessible as possible. So yay, any questions or anything, again, send me an email, support@KarenMaloney.com, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye. Thanks for listening. And before you go, I would love to ask you a massive favor. If you enjoyed this episode or any episode of the podcast, I would love for you to leave a short review on Apple Podcasts to help it grow. If you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it.